present with our children to make them happy. We bonded with lifelong friends under steeples. We feel like everyone's staring at us in a big old crowd of people. Stephen tried to drown us, that was a bad day. We hit the winning home run in the championship game. Candy apple red 66 Mustang was our first car. That's who we are. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, lost but a little more found. We went to a piano bar and drank Coors Light, pretended we were the bouncers. We learned from our mistakes, that makes us better along the way. They were heroes, we're human, messy with kind hearts. I'll get your family. That's who we are. Yeah, we've had our ups, we've had our downs, lost a little more found. Went to a piano bar and drank Coors Light, pretended we were the bouncer. Probably got some money. Yeah, we learned from our mistakes, and that makes us better along the way. We're heroes, we're human, we're kind, with family hearts. That's who you are.
Oh my God, where's the camera? Where is it?
Shut it, what? The dance that you're doing is dumb. How they do where you from? Hey, sticking out your tongue, girl, but you know you're too young. A bunch of girls do it, this shit look fun. That's how they do where we from. Hey, you know it don't start till 1. That's how they do it where they from.
I'm so faded, no exaggeration. Back breaking like a percolation. Boys to the yard for some hip spanking. Way I make it drop down like an animation. Can't take it, them chicks be faking. Y'all still sleep, better stay awakened. Hot new dance for the hood to make it. Make it don't move fast, make you think you're drinking. Head to the flow, don't collect that dough. You better huddle up, cause the beat's so cold. Pop that, cock and reload. This another hit, I got an ace in the hole. Boys on my back, player, did you pick that? You got a small stack, player, you can keep that. I'm a Big Mac, make you wanna eat that. Like, yakka to the yak.
My mama told me when I was young, we're all born superstars. She rolled my hair, put my lipstick on, in a glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause I make no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't have yourself in regret, just love yourself instead. I'm on the right track, baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way, baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Subway kid, rejoice the truth.
Started a really small club in St. Paul, the Turf Club. A couple months back, she was awesome. That's when we made the decision, we gotta get this chick to do our 40th. So we're really excited to have Maggie.
To all of the lovers, I am
a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire, filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. Looks like a girl, but she's a flame. So bright she can burn your eyes. Better look the other way. You can try, but you'll never forget her name. She's on top of the world, hottest of the hottest girls. Say, oh, we got our feet on the ground and we're burning it down. Oh, got our head in the clouds
Adam, what do you think of the Safety 2023?
Well, Randy, I think this has been a very good event so far here, capping out 2023 here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm really looking forward to the leads that we have, what we're taking advantage of, and, just really good turnout this year. We brought in 5,000 of those backpacks, and we got rid of all of them after day 2.
That's crazy.
So, if I say this phrase, and you remember this phrase, you have to raise your hand. You ready? Hello, and welcome to Movie Phone. Thank you. Those are my people. Those are my people. For those of you that didn't raise your hands, that used to be how you had to check what time of year. There was, but it was not very well widely used. And so you would call, and you would tell them what theater out of the picking on the numbers, and then they would tell you what time the movie started at that theater. And it was not fun. So be thankful. We all have apps for that now. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Gimbal.
You muted me, man. I was trying to talk, and you just like, you're like, it's not 10:30. It does.
Thank you so much for taking the time. So in Safety ASSP 2023, we did have over 6,000 people attend. Did you see that effect in the booth?
Oh, absolutely. The booth was slammed pretty much every day. A lot of folks really serious about safety, excited about new technologies that Dry-Fire and Nespro and NSA are bringing to the market. It was very, very exciting. A lot of energy here at ASSP this year.
What are some of the things your company can take away from a large conference like this?
Well, it exposes to the important people that matter, really, the end users, the folks doing the work out there in the field. We have the pleasure of meeting them face to face and asking them, hey, what do you need next? It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
So when you have a new product line that comes out, how excited is your staff to share that with the rest of the people that are in the booth?
It's like a new toy. you go out, you're beaming with excitement about this new technology, and the most rewarding part, I think, is seeing seeing the expression of the folks that you're presenting to, and then the difference it makes, because you're literally affecting the quality of their life when they go do the job.
Yeah, well, you're offering them a product that they don't even know about.
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
They don't know what they don't know, and you're offering them an option there for them. So
it's awesome.
Thank you, Adam, so much for your time.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll
you,
look
Rand.
forward to seeing you at the next conference.
Excellent. Have a great day, everybody.
Excuse me, sir. I was sitting there. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no problem. You can actually control it, the thumb there.
Yeah. Hey, dude. What are we up to?
It's been wonderful to have so many of you here this week. More than 6,000 attendees and more than 550 exhibitors have joined us for Safety 2023. On behalf of the ASSP Board of Directors, PBC Planning Committee, and our staff, I want to thank the City of San Antonio for being a tremendous host. We know you'll return home with many fond memories of your time here. Thank you for your generosity. And now, let's acknowledge our outgoing ASSP board members. At-large Director Mary Beth Anderson, and your current President, Christine Sullivan. Thank you for your service to our society.
Melissa Stockwell, our closing speaker, will join us shortly to share her inspirational story of courage, resilience, and belief.
So now I believe it. So thank you all for having me here today. I've met some incredible people backstage. I'm told you guys were a great audience, so I'm happy to be the one to close out your time in San Antonio. So the goal of this session is when you leave here today, so when you go home tonight, maybe it's your hotel room, maybe you fly home tonight, is that you think about what we've talked about here. And the goal is that you think about it, you apply it to your own lives, and you realize that we all have the power of choice to live the lives that we all want to live. So on April 13th of 2004, I woke up that day with both of my legs. I went to sleep that night with just one of them. Definitely not part of my to-do list for the day. That's funny, you can laugh. Not really part of anyone's to-do list. Not really part of a life plan, but that's kind of the beauty of life, right? You never know what life is gonna throw at you until it does. I knew that my chosen profession as a military officer had its risks, but you never think that something like this is gonna happen to you until it does. In a minute, I'm gonna tell all of you that story. But first, I wanna ask you a question. If something were to come into your own life, something sudden, traumatic, unexpected, how would you handle it? In essence, it has with COVID, but COVID aside, what do? Do you run towards it? Do you tackle it head on? Do you run from it? Maybe you persevere through it. You end up even better on the other side. And I'm here to tell you that all of you can do just that. And today I'm going to tell you why. So I like to say that I was born a patriot, so a lover of our country from a very young age. I grew up seeing military personnel. They were on TV, they were in the community, they wore a uniform, they had a flag patch on their shoulder. And I realized at a young age what that patch meant, and that they were giving part of themselves to give back to the country that we live in. And as I grew older and anybody asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said, I want to be in the Army. I wanted to wear that uniform. I wanted to have that flag patch on my shoulder. So my story eventually led me out to Colorado, the University of Colorado in Boulder. And freshman year, I was walking around campus and I saw this group of ROTC cadets that were being trained to serve our country and wear that uniform. They marched by me. They were singing cadences. They had their uniforms on, and you could just tell how much of a team they were. So I decided that I was going to make this dream a reality. In sophomore year of college, I basically walked into the recruiter's office, a recruiter's dream. I said, I want to join the Army. What do I do? He's like, well, you're going to sign on these 100 pieces of paper first. Sign my name, handed him back all the paperwork. He handed me my very first Army uniform, my BDUs. Went back to my dorm room, I put that uniform on, and that sense of pride I felt. I just knew that that's what I was supposed to do with my life. So I don't come from a military family. My parents knew of my desire to be in the Army, but they kind of thought it was a phase I was passing through, because to them, why would their youngest daughter actually join the Army? So imagine their surprise when sophomore year I dialed up my parents, and my dad answers. I'm like, guess what, Dad? There was all this paperwork, and I signed it, and I'm wearing my uniform, and I'm an ROTC, and I'm going to be an officer in a few years. And there was kind of this awkward pause, as parents can do so well. And my dad, having no idea what to say, says, are you sure there are all girls in the Army? To Walter Reed, and thinking, if I can do that, I can do anything. And it came at the perfect time, because someone came to the hospital and put a presentation on about the U.S. Paralympics. And I sat in a room, a conference room, as this gentleman with this booming voice said, if you train hard enough, if you dedicate yourself to a sport, then you can compete on the world's biggest athletic stage as somebody with a disability. As a young gymnast who had dreamt of going to the Olympics, obviously that didn't happen, but here I was listening to this man tell me that I had a second chance. I could be a Paralympian. Not only that, but I could represent the country I defended over in Iraq. And I left that meeting knowing that somehow, some way, I wanted to be a Paralympian. But first I was medically retired from the Army. And I set off back to school, this time in the field of prosthetics, a career field I didn't even know existed until I needed a prosthetic leg of my own. But going back to school and learning how to fit other amputees with these prosthetic devices, and the reward of getting someone back up on their feet and showing them what they are capable of. At this point, it was 2005, and I knew that there was going to be a 2008 Beijing Paralympic Games, and I really wanted to see if I could be there. So I decided to give it a shot in the sport of swimming. If any of you are swimmers out there, you might agree that the water kind of has this healing effect. I would get in the water and I would just forget as though I was losing, or as though I had lost my leg. And no, I did not swim in circles, as some people may think. But I loved, the water just had this effect. And I had a lot of room for improvement. The Paralympics is not like the military where you sign up and go. You have to beat your competitors. You have to make certain times. So in 2007, I kind of put everything on hold. I moved out to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs to try to make this dream a reality. I swam, I slept, I ate, and I swam, and I swam, and I swam. My times were here, and they'd be way down there if I had any shot of making this Beijing Paralympic team. Almost 4 years to the day after losing my leg, there was a Paralympic swimming trials, which basically meant I had to go and showcase how fast I could be. Total long shot going into these trials. My times had come down a bit, but I was nowhere where I needed to be. But I learned a pretty cool lesson. Hard work pays off. At this Paralympic trials, I took 20 seconds off a 400-meter freestyle. I broke American records I didn't even know existed. I was so far from them. And at the end of these Paralympic trials, when they named the Paralympic swim team, and my name was on it. This whole journey from Baghdad, I was going to go to Beijing. It all just came full circle, and to me, it just made sense. So the next step was Beijing. And if any of you watched the 2008 Olympic Games, you might remember seeing Michael Phelps. He won 8 gold medals in this water cube right here, this pool that they built just for the Olympic and the Paralympic Games. I got to watch him win his medals, and 2 weeks later, I found myself in that water cube with my coach, imagining myself being on the podium, maybe taking another 20 seconds off because that was realistic, but doing whatever I could do to make my country proud. So I got to put my USA uniform on. I swam in a few events, some freestyle, some butterfly. Every time I came out to those swim blocks, I would look up into the crowds and see my family and friends holding a flag that said Little Leg Fan Club. And I knew that regardless of what happened, that they were there for me. But I wish I could tell you that I did well athletically, but I didn't. I didn't make finals, I didn't have best times, and by the end of that meet, I felt like I let everyone down. My family, my friends, teammates, coaches, my country. Instead of getting on that podium, I got a participation mode, which I wanted to throw out the window at the time. Because I'm like, I've come all this way, and that's all I got. But I learned a pretty cool lesson. I think life is all about lessons, right? At the end of the Paralympic Games, there's a closing ceremonies, and there's an athlete that's nominated by all the other athletes to carry the American flags and represent their country. Typically an honor reserved for someone who is much more than a participation medal. But when my teammates nominated me for this honor, I realized that in life, we all want the medals, right? You want the recognition, you want to be on top, you want the hard work to pay off. But sometimes, it's about the journey to get there. It's about overcoming obstacles that come your way, having the heart to persevere through them, and a lot of times ending up better on the other side. And carrying that American flag into a sold-out stadium in Beijing, China. In life, you have these moments you kind of wish you go back and relive over and over again. And for me, that was one of them. So how do you beat that? How do you be competing in the Paralympic Games, carrying the flag in? Well, I went back home, I went back to work.